I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have Fraser on because I've seen him doing the rounds and here he is.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here.
I'm really, really happy.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do you like my new branding just before we keep him fit and well?
I love it. It's very summery.
Thank you.
Fitting the seasons, as they would say.
Right, so I've seen you hypnotise one of my good friends, Mary, on Getting a Lift.
Do you know Mary? Oh, it's fantastic. Mary is a character. She was amazing. Shout out to the Misfit Maw if you don't follow her.
Always. So then I was very intrigued because I thought, Mary's not going to bullshit if she's been hypnotised. Like I saw her falling forward onto your crotch. I was like, she's not going to just lie in any man's crotch for no reason.
We've not had many comments about that, but after this podcast, thank you for pointing that out.
Sorry, Mary.
Which I quickly saved her and brought her back up to a respectable position. May I like to add?
People driving past would have been like, what the fuck is going on?
It was amazing because we were doing that podcast and it was literally just in the middle of Costa car park.
Just like
so people would have just been...
that woman's head just went down.
Yeah.
And what the fuck's
they
going
must
on?
have just been wondering,
That's funny.
My goodness, what is going on?
So can you tell my listeners what you...
Absolutely.
Tell me about yourself. I'm
so,
excited.
My name's Fraser Penman, better known as the world's most unique hypnotist. As you can probably tell, I'm not your standard person by having this bright, luminous white hair sitting in front of you. So my unique selling point for me is having albinism, being a visual impairment and a disability. But as well as being a stage hypnotist, I'm also a mentalist, clinical certified hypnotherapist and a keynote speaker.
Very good.
Yeah. So
I know
a good bundle of...
I saw your hair and I was like that. I'm raging. I've not had my roots done.
I know. And I spent so long covering up that hair as well, dyeing it bleach black, actually, if you wouldn't believe it or not, for about 10 years. And now people pay to have this colour of hair. And I just wake up in the morning. So yeah, it's cool. I've grown into my own skin, as they would say. Absolutely.
And what about your eyesight, having that condition? Is it?
Yeah, so I'm registered partially sighted or visually impaired as it's better known as. So I can't ever drive, but to try and describe it to the kind of normal able-bodied person, I would just describe it as like being really short-sighted. So for example, I can still see everything around me and whatnot, but maybe it's like detail, like eye colour and stuff like that I wouldn't pick up unless I was like kind of close proximity, if that makes sense.
And has that always been the case for you ever since you were like a wee kid?
Yeah, since hereditary, since birth. So I was born with Occultalius albinism since birth, and it's a genetic condition. How it's kind of done is a chromosome from your mum or your dad, they come together, and then there's a 50% that you will be born with albinism, and I currently am the only one in my family. My brother doesn't have albinism or anything like that at all. So yeah, it's just the luck of the draw. A lottery.
Oh, great. So did you start doing this stuff, like study of the mind and all that, when you were younger? So
I've always been very fascinated by Derren Brown and some of the amazing psychological illusion things he would do. But I was working in education, and I actually used to be a former PT back in the days. I know you wouldn't think it right now.
I was about to say, back in the
days, and I was always fascinated on, and you can probably relate to this, how as a personal trainer, you're not giving anybody any special medication. You're not giving them any pill. You're literally reframing people's mindset, and you are that motivation for them to change their body shape, mindset, healthy eating habits, all that good stuff. And it's incredible how you can influence somebody through suggestion by giving them diet plans or suggestions to do this exercise, or looking at their life as a holistic approach and reframing
You're
their
exactly
mindset.
right. Mm-hmm.
How can you, just by turning up and being there and communicating with somebody, have incredible results? With the kind of hypnosis and everything else, my story kind of came from coming back from suicide and depression and changing my own mindset. And I thought, my goodness, if I can do this for myself, I need to share and spread this word, basically.
Well, yeah.
So,
and everything you said there is exactly, and that's why I wanted you on, because obviously this is...
Yeah, because people be like, why are you having a hypnotist if you're a fitness coach?
Just purely selfish reasons. No, but it's a women's health and wellness podcast, and most of the stuff that I do is mindset.
Yep.
And I actually joke with people and say, I've finally managed to brainwash you, but it is everything that you've just said. So in terms of power of the mind, what are you actually doing when you're hypnotising people?
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
Yeah,
are you allowed to tell me?
Of course
not.
Like
secret.
People always say, are you a magician? I can't even shuffle a deck of cards, right?
Fucking hell.
So no, I'm not a magician. Don't do any magic tricks, nothing like that at all. Mine is all psychological and to do with the mind. So to explain hypnosis, hypnosis is basically a state of consciousness where you're highly suggestible. Now, we all have kind of 4 to 5 brainwave patterns. Without going into the terminology, let's just name them 1 to 5. So number 1 would be your fight or flight system. So if you were getting robbed and you either freeze or you fight back. Number 2 is a kind of brainwave pattern we're in just now, which is just your everyday stresses of life and whatnot, the run of the mill. Brainwave pattern 3. So if you've ever been watching a movie or you've ever been on your phone and you've been so engrossed in what you're watching, maybe your partner or a family member or a friend could be sitting beside you screaming your name, and it's not until they come and tap you on the
Too
head
much.
that you're like, what is it? You didn't even hear them. Your brain can literally block it out. Brainwave pattern 4 is hypnosis, kind of that daydream state that you feel kind of before you fall asleep. If you've ever been in bed and your partner's talked to you, you can hear them talking, but you're not too sure what they're talking about. You wake up the next morning and you forgot to do what they've asked you, and they go, I told you that last night. Did you? Don't remember. And then number 5 is sleep, right? So hypnosis is basically dealing with the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. When you go into the brainwave pattern 4, a state of hypnosis, there is a gap between your subconscious and your conscious mind. If you fire in suggestions to your subconscious mind, because your subconscious is a lot more powerful than your conscious mind, you will tend to follow those suggestions if it doesn't bring any harm or ill health to your able body. So for example, if I was to say to you, go walk out in front of that car, your conscious mind would kick in and be like, I'm not going to do that because that's going to have a negative effect. However, if I'm to put positive affirmations or positive suggestions to you, because you're in that highly suggestible state, you will tend to follow it. And therefore, it's reframing your mindset.
I love that because I do affirmations. And actually, to be honest, I was like, this isn't working. This is a bit of a waste of time. However, after doing it for a long time, and I mean, I'm just listening to affirmations when I'm doing things, when I'm driving,
absolutely.
kind of in that state that you're talking about where you're just a bit blocked out of things, you're not really concentrating on it. And it has actually had a positive effect.
Absolutely.
So see, trying to get other people to do it, I basically need you, because you're the guy with the bleach blonde hair that's telling it, I need you to tell them that affirmations work.
They absolutely do. Now, you might say to me that you've never been hypnotised, correct? So we actually all are hypnotised. Now, we actually go in and out of trance 7 to 10 times a day. Now, I'm going to give you and your listeners an example of this, because you're like, Fraser, what are you talking about? I've not ran about like a chicken. Don't worry, don't use chickens in my show, it's just ducks.
Okay.
So
Fine.
you're fine.
Good.
So we've all been hypnotised. Why is this crazy white-haired guy saying that? Let me explain. So, do you drive?
Yes.
Have you ever got in your car at the same time and done the same journey to the same destination? It might be the school run, it might be something else, and you get to your destination and you don't actually remember
all the
driving
time
there. You just
Yes.
suddenly arrive there.
All the time.
People call it autopilot mode, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens is your conscious mind goes for a little holiday and your subconscious mind just takes you through the motions of going to the destination. Now, you said that you listen to stuff in the car. It's the same when you listen to hypnosis tapes at night time. You can hear what it's saying, but you're not really paying attention. But what's happening is subliminally, that's going into your subconscious mind, and it's keeping that, and it's then having the positive effect, because all of our learned behaviours happen between the ages of all of our kind of development happens between 0 to 7 cognitively. The main parts anyway. Obviously, you do grow as you get older, but the main parts happen for that. So after 7 years old, everything else is a learned behaviour. So fears, phobias, it all comes from negative things that you've seen or learned and how your brain interprets it. So, for example, if you were to memorise something or have a memory of something, your brain actually 90% doesn't remember the detail of it. It puts its own little twists and turns on it and all the rest of it. So the memories or the fears that we create for ourselves is actually a negative reality. So therefore, it's a learned behaviour. Learned behaviours can be untrained. You just reframe it by tapping into the subconscious.
And does that even work with people who have got trauma? So something that's maybe happened in their childhood?
Yeah. So being a clinical hypnotherapist, I deal with everything from psychodynamic analysis to people who have maybe been sexually assaulted, to rape, to anxiety, to trauma, to anything you can think of. Now, again, sometimes it's months or weeks of working, sometimes it's just a couple of sessions. Again, it's how deep down into the problem you need to find, and then what happens is you then replace that with maybe like a positive memory or a positive time, and what happens is you create an anchor, maybe like closing your fist or something.
Yeah.
That then automatically puts endorphins into your body, reminds you of that memory, so that when you face a time of anxiety or a time of nervousness, you feel nervous, you instantly squeeze that. Your brain then remembers, oh, when I squeeze that, that's a trigger to remember this positive memory, replaces the negative emotions with the positive, the negative flood away, and it helps you overcome that barrier.
Wow, that's amazing.
Really interesting.
It's
The
so
human
interesting.
body and the human mind is the most fascinating, interesting thing you'll ever get to know.
Because I love about, like, I read a lot in how basically emotions are held in the body and come out in physical manifestations of being ill or anxiety. If maybe somebody suffered trauma and now they're kind of left as an adult with anxiety, and I deal with a lot of clients as well, but I don't obviously have that amazing tool, but we've got to like...
But you're doing it, but just on a different level, if that makes sense.
But for you to actually be able to give them an anchor to change that negative feeling when they start to feel anxious and change it into a positive, it's like, that's amazing, isn't it?
People come to me and they're like, what? So Fraser, I can squeeze my finger and my thumb and all this anxiety goes away? Yeah, it absolutely does. But here's the thing. People think I've got a magic wand or that I went to Hogwarts. Now, if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
But hypnotherapy, in order it to be effective, you need to want to change. Okay? So, for example, it's like somebody who wants to come and lose weight, but they just want to turn up and do their session. They don't want to get the diet right. They don't want to get the correct sleep. It's a holistic approach, right?
Yeah.
Same with hypnotherapy. It's not about just turning up to the therapy room. You get out of it what you put in. So, for example, I get clients, I might have somebody that wants to stop smoking because they've just had a heart attack. They hate the smell and the taste, they just can't break the habit. We then have client B, who loves a cigarette, but the wife bought them a hypnotherapy package for Christmas because she hates the smoking.
I know these
client
ones.
A or client B, who's going to be successful? So what I say is, if you're coming for hypnotherapy, be ready. You almost need to be 75% of the way there for your mindset to allow me to come in and just give you that added guide. Because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I'm not doing the amazing change from this. You are, which is the most thing that blows me away. I'm just guiding you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's amazing. You must be loving your job then now.
Oh, absolutely love it.
You can tell that you're
I'm
pure
so I'm like such a geek with it. No, my kind of goal in life was to always kind of change one person's life, especially when I was coming through hardship, through school, and previous to this I worked in education, and I've always been, everything I've done even up until this is all about helping people and caring for people. And I think it comes or stems from the trauma and the kind of hard start that I had in life, not as far as family and support and lifestyle, that was all fine, but the more mental battle that I had growing up. I've always wanted to make a change, and I believe that MD with a platform needs to use it for some sort of good or some sort of positive effect. And yeah, best job in the absolute world.
It's good that you did change that for you into something positive, that you, because that would have been a lot, just fitting in as a kid, do you know what I mean? Like I had some like eczema up my arms and my skin and all that, and that was bad enough, but something like that you have went through school and stuff. And
I think I would hate to be growing up in nowadays, because bullying for me stopped at school. I went through, people used to throw rocks at me from about the age of 8 to 10 when I was walking home myself. When I was kind of 12, 13, somebody threw a drink over my face because they thought I was so pale that I had talcum powder on it. I used to get on the bus, and I'm sure it wasn't adults, but what it felt is older people at the time. They'd just come and stare at me and be like, you look like a vampire. Don't even know you and stuff. And
it's harsh, man.
When you start to hear a message long enough, you start to believe it.
Exactly.
You know? So it's all about now, especially in this century, everybody's embracing who you want to be, and don't let anybody else tell you that you can't be what you are. So it's not a disability. I always say it's an unique ability.
100%.
And everybody's got one.
And you've used it good. And the thing about it is, what you're saying is right. It's like the social media life now. It's rough for people.
Oh my goodness. I think I put a post up. I think I was putting a post up because I was hypnotising some of 25 Scotland's biggest influencers a couple of weeks back. And I put one of the posts up and somebody commented saying, Jedward's let himself go. I thought, you cheeky bugger, I'm going to cut.
I'm losing weight. No, but
if you're going to put yourself in social media, man, expect it. For every one bad, there's 100 good.
I get it as well, man. You're like, oh, fucking hell, nothing better.
Oh, it's terrible.
Nothing better to do with your time.
It's terrible. But you know what? If you're watching that and you're going to troll this podcast, I hope you have an amazing
I'll
day.
Find you.
It's like
I'll
black and white.
Find you.
No, have an amazing day, because your life's obviously not busy enough.
No, oh God, man, I get it as well, mate. Everybody gets it.
Absolutely.
Everybody gets it, but it's how you change it into a positive. At least they're viewing your stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And just when you were talking about the PT clients, a lot of stuff that I work with is kind of females, especially going through the kind of menopause stage and stuff like that. The transitional stage, because they'll say that their food's on point and the exercise is on point, but their body's changing and whatnot. And what they might think is their food and that's on point, but they're not looking at the holistic approach from it. So their sleep, their water intake, all that stuff, how their stress levels are, because as you get to a certain age, these things become accountable into your kind of fitness and lifestyle.
100%. Really, and do you know what's interesting for you when you are taking these clients is that the perimenopause is actually a rewiring of the brain.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what it is, and that's why your hormones change. So for you, like, you could be helping people guide that way, then that's perfect.
I don't like to say I'm rewiring people's brains. I like to say we're reframing. Because just people always compare hypnosis to mind control, but it's not. How many times have you been looking for your glasses or your phone or your keys, holding your glasses or your phone and your keys? It's called negative hallucinations, and we all go
I thought that was just called having kids.
I know. Going up the stairs.
Harassed.
What's that come up the stairs for?
Just harassed, generally.
We all go through different forms of hypnosis. Hypnosis is just focus and concentration and eliminating distraction. Now, if you set goals or SMART goals, you're avoiding the pub or you're avoiding certain foods and focusing on that's hypnosis. Entrepreneurs who say, my house is exactly how I visualised it, or this car is exactly, I put it on the fridge when I was younger, and this is the car I now have. They're actually hypnotising themselves into achieving those goals. They're eliminating the distractions, focusing on the business and achieving what they want to achieve. It's the exact same process in the hypnotherapy room. On stage, all they're doing is eliminating the audience and focusing on what I'm saying. So it's the same process, just different framework. So although it might look very, theatrical and mind control, you're forgetting that people have paid money to come and see the show. People have volunteered, because I don't use actors or stooges for the 900th comment that I normally get in these podcasts. Come and see a show if you think that's happening. I don't use any actors or stooges. People literally volunteer. So the want is there. So the fact that they've spent the money, they've volunteered themselves, they've passed the psychological tests, they're so susceptible and such good imaginative personalities that they want to do these things. And as I said, everything I do on stage, it's not going to cause any harm. Nobody's going to be embarrassed. Everybody actually has a really enjoyable experience. So because I'm firing suggestions into the subconscious mind, they're naturally going to follow it. So that's how it works, rather than mind control.
So what about the secret? What about manifestation? True or false? Can I manifest?
Can you manifest like thoughts?
Can I manifest like new cars? Can I manifest a new glass room for my house?
Absolutely. I believe that, again...
Am I just sitting thinking about it loads? Like, tell me the truth about manifestation right now.
So, in a practical sense, if you want to so for example, I would say that I manifested this. So I came across, I was always interested in hypnosis, but the business point of element for it, I always never thought it would be. I never thought it would be a business. I never thought it would be a career. It was just something that I really enjoyed, a bit of a geek at it, and it didn't happen until people came and started to ask me, oh, could you do this or could you do that and whatnot? And I thought, right, okay, maybe there's something to this. And I always say that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And if you're good at something, you will tell people. If you're amazing at something, people tell you, right? So when it started to come into the whole business element of it, I'm a great performer, but I'm not a great businessman. And I had to work damn hard. Like, you don't just go viral overnight. You don't just get press releases overnight.
Hardcore,
you don't just get theatre managers and agents overnight. I had to work my ass off. I was working a 40-hour week with 12-hour day shifts while basically running a business at the same time. And I've done that for the best part of kind of 3.5 to 5 years before it got to this point.
It's tough going, man.
But every night I would have the same dream that I wanted my dad to come see me in a theatre show. And I'm actually achieving that this year for my very first theatre tour, coming up between this and next year.
Congrats.
And I've been manifesting that in my head as a dream every single night for the last almost 2.5 to 3 years. And it's finally happening. And you put it out to the universe and you manifest it and you think about it and you visualize it and it will happen. But you can't just wake up and go to sleep one night and wake up and go, oh, this will happen. You need to make active changes to make it happen.
Okay.
Nobody's going to give you it, if that makes sense. But I do believe if you believe in it and you manifest it, it will happen if you work hard enough.
Because you're kind of directing your actions because you're thinking about it so much, isn't it? I mean, come on.
I always say a thought creates a feeling and a feeling creates a behaviour.
So that's what it is, isn't it? But you do need to work really hard because our wee brains are hot wired to just the usual pattern of, like, especially in Scotland, everybody's a bit dreary.
Oh, it can be, absolutely. But sad syndrome is a real thing. I used to
we don't get the sun.
The vitamin D.
Like, I'm fucking blasting this podcast today because I want the sunshine. I'm like, right, come on, boys. We're moving fast.
Quick. We've got 2 o'clock cut off. But no, absolutely correct.
So it's a tough crowd over here, isn't it, for all this kind of thing? Because it's a tough crowd for fitness and all that. So for you, what are you thinking? It's a tough crowd.
Do you know what? Hypnosis in the UK is just not a thing. It's
really?
Just not a thing.
You kidding?
No, definitely not. Everybody's probably heard of Robert Halpine or Paul McKenna or Peter Powers and whatnot, but there's no, unless you're Darren Brown, there's nobody else doing these big stages.
No.
So, and I was recently quoted as Scotland's answer to Darren Brown, which is a huge compliment because
delighted,
that's my hero.
I love him too.
There's nobody else, I suppose, in our kind of age group in their 20s, young, relevant, working with influencers. I always say that I'm putting a modern edge on an old age art. So I want to take it away from the creepy hypnotist with the watch and the, and come in a little bit
the
of a
eye
funky
in the
style.
forehead, like that. The fuck?
Talk to your third eye. No, the third eye's in holiday.
Oh my God.
Absolutely not. So
kind of shows this.
Yeah, so I really want to because we live in this influencer, content creator, Love Island world, right? Whether you love it, whether you hate it, do your due diligence. That's what we're living in technology nowadays. So I'd like to think that I'm kind of modernising hypnosis in a way and making it relevant.
You're smashing.
But when I go to America, they just,
you don't even need to get your tits out.
I don't need to do anything. They just
love it.
They're just happy to be there, and it's great. But do you know what? Love the Scottish crowd because
we're cynical, but it's what it is, isn't it? We're suspicious of everything.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
The amazing thing is we're not shy and raving about when we've enjoyed something. So you might find people come to the show, and a lot of time they go, "I didn't believe it," and then they see their best friend, their aunt, their girlfriend, or themselves up on stage, and they're like, crap, this stuff is real.
Yeah, well that happened to me.
And they're not shy about spreading the word, which is pretty cool. And when you're on stage, although I have a set structure of my show, I walk out on stage every night not knowing what's going to happen because people react differently. I might give you a suggestion, you're going to react different to the next person's going to react. And some things catch me off surprise. And I always say it's like a comedian going on stage with no script. It is terrifying.
I like that better. I think that's cool.
Living on the edge every day.
That's much more authentic.
People say, you're so calm and collected. I am sweating in the wind.
That's why I'm wearing black.
But no, it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's very cool. So my next question is, because people listening to my podcast will be dying to know, can they hypnotise themselves into being the shape, the dress size, the body goal, the health goal? Can you just sit and can you hypnotise yourself?
Absolutely. So the way I discovered hypnosis for the first time was hypnotising myself coming back from suicide.
Right.
So I was 3 days away from committing suicide. I had a plan, and to give you a very quick background, just to answer your question, I dyed my hair for 10 years, wore fake tan, wore makeup, dyed it black. Didn't want to be anything but albino.
Sounds like you're describing me.
I was so ashamed of who I was in my own body. Now, I'd seen psychologists and counsellors and nothing worked for me. And then I thought I would try hypnosis. I gave myself one suggestion, which was, you are enough. Because I'd been always told for the rest of my life that I wasn't good enough, or you're ugly, or all this stuff. You are enough. 3 simple words, and the very next day, shaved off all my black hair, binned all my makeup, binned all my fake tan. And then 5 years later, got a diploma, started practicing as a therapist, had an agent, started working internationally. Here we are, right? Fantastic, right? So it can have incredible effects. So all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So although I'm guiding you, you can do it yourself.
Great.
I can do it myself. Everybody can do it. Now, a lot of my clientele is for weight loss. Now, there's kind of 3 options for it. You can do a general motivational session, or it's almost like kind of like a mental online PT, whereby we set you goals every week, and I will hypnotise you, or you will hypnotise yourself under me supporting you and guiding you to achieve certain goals throughout the week. And then we have another option, which is very extreme, which is a gastric band. And that goes through all the same aspects as what you would do for the real operations. The smell, the taste, the only difference is you don't get the scars. Now, if you physically were to try and go and eat after having this, you would be sick. And people can lose up to 7 to 10 stone in a year. It's incredible. But as far as hypnotising yourself for weight loss, absolutely. Goal setting is a form of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Just take 10 minutes out your day and almost kind of like meditation in a sense. And just before you're going to bed, visualise what you want to do, relax yourself medically, mentally and physically, set your goals and anchor it. Put yourself in a time where you felt motivated and in control. Follow that and keep going with it. However, another way to do it very simply is set a goal, record yourself. We all do the school run, which is maybe 20 minutes away from the house and back, or to work or back, or to a journey every day. That's 40 minutes in the car. Put that message into your car, put it on the radio, don't listen to it. So you'll just be giving yourself the suggestion over and over again that says, must do a 5K run this week, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just put it on the background, talk to whoever's in the car, concentrate on the road, just let it play in the background, and that will subliminally go into your mindset. After about 3 weeks, you will find yourself giving yourself the nudge to do that 5K all on its own. I used to always forget to take the bins out on a Wednesday. Fraser, take the bins out Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Put it into my earpods, walk to work every day. In about 7 to 10 days, I was automatically never missing the bins. And I never have, because it's now
subconscious.
Stuck.
That's cool. But it is just change your thoughts, change your actions.
Absolutely.
But I do a lot of work with self-love with my female clients. And I think that is like, you need to do the affirmations for that and change your, and is it the same sort of thing? You could just say in the car, I am enough, play it through the tape.
Yeah, I kind of actually, and this is surprising, have you ever heard of, what's the word again?
I'm scared that you keep clicking your fingers in case I fall asleep.
I can't remember the word for it. That's terrible. But mindfulness, that's the word.
Yeah.
You ever heard of mindfulness, right?
100%,
so
do it all the time.
A lot of people come and see me and they say, I'm having such a crap day. And I say, okay, cool. Like, what? They're expecting me to say, no, you need to think positive. You need to do this. You need to do that. No. If you're having such a bad day, tell yourself you're having a bad day. That's cool. Because as people, we put so much pressure on ourselves to think. See, when you're feeling a certain way, we put so much pressure on ourselves to try and feel the opposite. So for example, if you're ever going to sleep, you'll say, look at the clock and be like, oh, I'm not asleep. Must go to sleep, must go to sleep, must go. The more you think you need to go to sleep, the more you put yourself awake. The more you're feeling rubbish about yourself on that day, you think, no, I need to be positive, I need to do this, you just push yourself further away from it. Now, some days, telling yourself to be positive, that works. But other days, you won't believe the amazing results that, see, when we take that pressure off our shoulders to say, do you know what, today's a write-off and that's okay. But whatever tasks I didn't get done today, I always set myself 3 tasks a day. 2 tasks that I must do, 1 task I'd like to do. Now, if I only get through the 2 tasks, I'll only get through 1 task. Those other 2 tasks, 2 and 3, they now get pushed up to the top of the list for the next day. So they're always going to get done. So take the pressure off yourself. Say, do you know what? Today's a write-off. That's okay. By taking the pressure off yourself of trying to feel good that day, you automatically give yourself a reset for the next day.
I love it. It's just giving people tools, isn't it?
It's giving people a breather. And I always say hypnosis and hypnotherapy is not the be-all and end-all. It's just another tool to your toolkit.
I just love it that we're just able to help people, giving them these fucking tools.
And absolutely.
You're welcome, by the way.
I know.
And now the board is there, and I'd like to
So, as I was saying earlier on about hypnosis and clinical hypnotherapy, I also am a mentalist. Have you ever heard of mentalism?
Yes. I love Dan Brown as well.
So what do you think a mentalist
like
is?
Mastery of the mind, getting people to, like, you suggesting, you giving people suggestions.
So hypnosis is suggestion.
And so you nudge.
So what do you think mentalism is?
Mentalism could be, it's not mind control, because you've said that many times that you don't mind control.
We're talking about manifestation.
Manifestation. You are manifesting, making people manifest a thought.
Very close.
Am I very close?
Almost.
I'm so clever.
Mentalism is psychological thoughts that I want to impose onto you without you even know about it. So
right,
basically,
I'm ready.
I want to manifest your thoughts into a direction that I want to come up with amazing predictions, and I'm going to people profile you without you even knowing that it's happening, if that makes sense. So communication is made up of body language, tone, and the words we speak. Only 7% of communication is made up by the words we speak. So everything else, for example, when you look at detectives and the police, they can pick up whether people are lying or telling the truth through microfilament movement. So what I'm going to aim to do today is I want to try and predict and put thoughts into your mind without you even knowing it to come up with some amazing results.
Oh,
so it's not so
I'm
much the
excited.
story that I'm going to tell you, but it's the story you're going to tell yourself.
Fine.
Does that work out well?
It sounds
Now,
amazing. I'm so excited.
I thought I'll keep it nice and simple, and I know do you have children?
Yes.
So I thought this would be quite fitting for you, okay? So my brother and his wife had a beautiful baby boy, Cora, about 6 months ago, and you will have seen this. You have these books, the Find Me book. So it's to help them to try and learn their words and images and kind of environmental print and what they learn. So on each page, you can take the book. Just make sure you can show it up to the camera. So on each page, we have a big image. So you, for example, what's the blue thing? So read out some of the big images.
Car.
So like you'd say K for car. And then what you would do is you'd see beside the big image.
Can you find your car?
Yeah, so you see the big image.
Yes.
You then see there's sort of 9 images down beside the big image. So what happens is you'll see the big image is the car, and then you need to look through the wee images and you can see a car as well. So the car matches the car, right?
You keep saying the word car. I'm not going to draw a car now.
No. But do you understand how this works? Okay, so you'd basically have a look at all the small images and you'd see the big images. Now, there is over 27 pages in that book. Okay, there's over 270 images in that. There's no way that I could memorise where every image is or what's on every image page, could I?
No.
Right. So
you
what
have
we're
a
going
lot
to do?
of time in your hands. You don't. You're
Unfortunately,
very busy.
I'm a busy man.
You're busy
so
as fuck.
what I want you to do is I want you to flick through this book, hold it up so that I can't see because I can see the pages. There we go. I want you to hold it up, and I'll actually look this direction in a minute. I just want to explain how this is going to work. Okay.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is you're going to flick through the book, and you're going to pick a big image. So the image will be the big image. That makes sense?
Yes.
Now, what you're going to do is you're not going to read out the big image, but you're going to read out all 9 images that are small. So, for example, say it was the car page, right?
Yes.
I know we're not picking the car,
I'm
but
definitely
say it was the
not,
car,
by the way.
you would read out all the images
Right.
on the small page, as in like car and whatever the other 8 items are.
Yes.
Just by you reading out all 9 small items, I'm going to try and guess what the big picture is on your page.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick a page at random, and I want you to read out all the small images and I'll try and match it to the big image. Okay, without looking. Okay. Read them out. Take it nice and slow. But now, a lot of people for this are going to try and trick me. I want you just to read them naturally.
I was going to try
clear.
and trick you. I'm sorry. I was going to try and trick you a wee bit.
Try, because what actually happens is the more you try and lead me away from a behaviour, the more your tone will skip and I can pick it up.
And I'll feel
we'll try
bad.
this.
I will feel bad.
Now, this is an experiment, so we'll see how well
Okay,
this
let's
will
go
work.
for it,
Okay,
mate.
so we're doing a test of communication. Let's see. Let's go for it. So,
Kite.
Mhm.
Moon. Flower. iPhone. Cat. Birthday cake. Fish. Teddy bear. Strawberry.
was the big image you picked the iPhone?
It
Absolutely.
was the iPhone.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people would think, oh, okay, maybe he's memorised the order of the small images, right?
Right.
So what I want you to do is I only want you to read out 4 this time. I only want you to read out 4. Now, you must include whatever the image is, the big image, okay? But I want you to read out just 4 of them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Pencil. Umbrella. Chair. Car.
Read again.
Pencil, umbrella, chair and car. I'd forgot what I'd picked there.
Read them the opposite way.
Chair, umbrella, car, pencil.
Umbrella.
No.
Oh, see, this is why it's good for the experiment.
Yeah,
What was it?
It was the rainbow, which is the same colour as umbrella if we want to give you that.
Okay, now, you said the rainbow. So you need to read out the image
Was
that's
that
on
my
the
fault?
big page as well.
Right, okay.
So, for example, you had the rainbow there. So you'd read out like rainbow, car, umbrella, whatever it is. So just pick 3 other
it
items.
actually did still work. It was my fault. It was
That's okay.
It
That's
was
okay.
a user issue.
So let's just explain one more time for everybody at home. You're going to have a big image picture,
Big image.
and then you're going to have 9 images, and one of those 9
9
images will match the big
They'll
image.
match.
Correct?
Yes,
You're going to
I'm with
read
it
out
now.
the matched big image, but along with another 3
But only
dud
4.
ones.
But only 4.
I mean, you can do 4, you can do 5, you can do 6, you can do 9, you can do
But
whatever
you'll
you
still
want.
get it. Let's do
Well,
this.
Maybe not.
I think you will. When I do it correct, yes. Birthday cake, clock, football, flower.
Clock.
Yes. How? How did you know?
Do one more.
How did you know?
If you don't notice this, if you watch this back, when you say clock, your clock tone was a little bit louder than birthday cake and all the rest of it. Now, again, based on communication and how to profile image people, the way we figure this out is you probably naturally didn't want to stutter, but what happens is instead of stuttering, because you didn't want to leave that gap, you then said it a little bit louder, which then gives it away.
Oh no.
Now,
I feel mind fucked now.
Do you want to do 9, 2, 1, 3 images? Now, I just want to make sure I'm letting you pick this at random so that everybody knows that there's no set order I can remember this in.
So I can just do my big image in any other four other ones?
Yes, but make sure one of the 4 ones matches the big
we
one.
Won't make that
do you want to do
again.
4? Do you want to read out 4, 5, 6, 7, 9? Your choose.
Right, okay.
Or you can do 2. You can literally just do 2 and make it hard and make me pick between 2. It's entirely up to yourself. But now, don't let me influence you, because the more I'm trying to influence you, the more you trying to trick me. But the more you try to trick me, the more you make it obvious. Ready?
I don't know what's happening anymore. Right, we ready?
How many are you picking?
I'm going to pick 3.
Pat, change that. Don't tell me how many you're picking. Just start to read.
Sun, pencil, xylophone, chair, iPhone. Pasta. I'm just going to do a wee bit of mind reading now, and I think that you are drawing the sun. I knew it. See, I told you, everyone. Well, how did you know? Right, fine.
One more.
How did you know? Because I didn't change my tone. My tone that
gaps.
Right,
Again, microfilament movements you wouldn't pick up. So what actually happens is, again, communication is all made up of what? Body language and tone. So when you say sun, you actually flinch with your eyelids down to the left-hand side.
Very clever.
So now we'll go one more time. Now,
right. I'm going to try not move.
I want you to bring the book up this time so that I can't see your mouth, I can't see your eyes. We're literally just going to go in tone, and I'm literally going to face this way for the last one.
Right, okay, good. House, teddy bear, moon, football, butterfly, tree.
Tell me, where are you going on holiday this year?
We're going to Dubai.
Excellent. Read out that list one more time, nice and fast, but don't be anything specific. Just read them out, nice and fast, nice and quick. Go.
House, teddy, moon, football, dog, butterfly, tree.
Excellent. And if I was to ask you what your favourite food is, what would you say that is?
Obviously avocado, because it's good healthy fats.
Avocado.
It's good for your hormones.
And where would you find your avocado?
Sainsbury's probably.
Sainsbury's. And where would you do with that avocado? Where would you take it?
I would take it home and I would mash it up and put a bit of lime in it and a bit of pink salt for electrolytes.
Electrolytes. And so you put it in the fridge. And where's that fridge in?
Oh,
Where does
for
that fridge
fuck's
live?
sake, it lives in the home. My house.
You're thinking of a house.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well done. How did you do that?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So this is for you.
I'm so happy.
And I can safely take my brother's baby book back to him.
Will you
It's been
sign
an
it for
absolute
me
pleasure.
as well?
Absolute pleasure.
Just for when you're like famous in America. But I know that blonde angel. Thanks so much, mate.
Perfect.
So
Thank you
that's
so
amazing.
much.
So thanks so much for joining me on my podcast today. I feel like I'm one of the last people to have you.
Not at all. Not at all. You've actually.
Have I got you a good
You've
time?
got me. You've
You're
got
still
me a good
fresh.
time. August.
Good fuck.
August. Don't even. August can be fun.
So where can we find you mainly?
Awesome. So my main platforms, I'm on all platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So on TikTok, you can find me at Most Unique Hypnotist. Instagram is simply just my name, Fraser Penman Hypnotist. And Facebook is World's Most Unique Hypnotist. Please give me a like. Please give me a follow. And I'm headlining the Edinburgh Fringe Festival from the 15th of August until the 27th of August. I will make sure I can get you some nice free complimentary
Yeah, I'd
tickets
love
for
that. We'd love to come.
And if you want to buy tickets are only £10.
That's a bargain.
And I'm headlining for 13 nights, 15th to the 27th of August. This will be my first year doing it in Scotland, doing the Edinburgh Fringe. And after I only have one more theatre show in Scotland, and that is it for this year.
Oh, you're
Then we're
going
away
to
out to America and Colorado. So if you want to come see me in Scotland, you need to grab tickets for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Sounds brilliant.
We're going to be performing at La Bella and Jelly at 6:30 p.m. every single night from the 15th to the 27th. And tickets and links are in my bio on my Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Excited.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having
Cheers,
me.
thank you, mate. Thanks a lot.
That was fun.
That was great. Well done.
So off camera, we done a little bit of a hypnosis induction. We can't do that on camera because people would get hypnotised. However, you have an amazing, intelligent imagination and your hands are completely stuck. Now, they just keep getting tighter the more you breathe in, the more you breathe out. It's the most strange, incredible thing.
Yeah, they're stuck.
And you're not acting this, you're not playing along because
No,
that's not
I
what
really
we want.
wouldn't do that, but they are absolutely.
If you just focus here, when I click my fingers, those hands will become unlocked. Now. There you
How?
go. Excellent. Now, what I
How?
want to do, are you left or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Now, I
How?
promise I'll keep you safe and secure in every single way. You're happy to get hypnotised?
Yes,
very
I'm
quickly? I'll put you
fucking
back.
delighted. to
Right,
get
put your feet on the
hypnotised.
floor. Let me see your left hand. Yeah, okay, we'll use your right hand. Okay, feet on the floor. I want you just to place your right hand out just like this. I want you to close your fingertips and I want you to focus on this point here. And I want you to push down as hard as you can. Push down as hard as you can. Put all your body weight into it. Put all your body weight into it. Just allow, keep focusing there. Push harder. Come on, put your whole body into it. You can go all the way to sleep.